Hello, welcome to Tea with Molly. We have Cynthia de Lorenzi here with us today, and she is the founder and CEO of Success in the City, as well as a social media guru now with leaders. She is a motivational speaker, an inspirer. She travels all over the world, and she is a dear friend. I am so happy to have you here with me today.
I'm happy to be here with you, Molly. I'm so excited about what you're doing.
Thank
You
you.
have such an incredible soul and passion and presence and being. And I think you reach an audience that really needs to hear something special, and you're the person to deliver it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
We didn't even script that.
You don't have to. When you speak the truth, there's no scripting necessary.
Thank you for saying that. And really, today is about gifting you to the audience, because I think that for a lot of people, some of us do know that we have a purpose. Some of us do know that we came into the world to do something. Many of us don't know what that is, or perhaps we know, but we don't know how. And so your story is so unique. You've gone through a lot in life. That's how we got to know each other, is we have gone through a lot of pain and a lot of loss and tragedies in our lives, and that's the connection piece. And I wanted to start that off because connection to you is so important. Connection, understanding, empathy, and that's why you founded Success in the City. So I want to know what inspired you, like the history behind how you ended up launching this organization, which is a huge success in its own right. So how did that happen?
You know, it was a surprise to me as much as it was to anybody else. I often tell people that I am a geek and a nerd, and I just pretend to be a girl on TV. I come from the tech sector, and before that, the advocacy policy side of the house. So I came from this space, which was pretty uncommon for a lot of people, especially for women. But I've always been interested in those kinds of topics. And I moved to Washington, D.C. in 2002 following the death of my brother. And as you know personally, the death of someone you love and care for really changes your life in ways you can't even begin to imagine or are able to articulate. But my brother was my youngest sibling. He was this incredible being and soul who was a gift to my entire family, being the only boy. My father died when I was 20, so our family was very close because we were raised around the world. So what happens for children in a family that's transient is they find themselves being very mobile. So I moved here in 2002. My brother passed away unexpectedly, so I took over his business for my family, which was an IT-based business, so I was very comfortable doing that. And I found myself in this vacuum with no girlfriends. I'm diagnosed with a life-threatening illness, which was a large tumor in my left ovary, and I realized that at that point I had a huge vacuum in my life and I needed to fill it. So that's how Success in the City started. So if you like, I'd be happy to share more information about what that was.
Absolutely, please do, because I think that there are a lot of people out there who feel that way now, and sometimes you're looking for organizations or places to belong and you can't find anything that really fits what you're looking for, and you decided to just start one.
You know, it was really interesting because I was in a vacuum. I'm CEO of a major IT company in Washington, D.C. And how do you find girlfriends when you're already now playing at the top of your game?
Right.
It's hard to do. It sounds easy, but when I attended events and meetings and networking organizations, they were really very much filled with men, which was wonderful for somebody doing what I was doing because it's easy then to stand out and gain recognition. Because there's so few women, you now are recognized. It's just like for a man perhaps entering into women's world, you'll stand out because there's so few of you present, and that was my case. So, but I found, based that I might be facing life-threatening illness, I needed a support system, and my family is still grieving the death of my brother. And I had no support network to be able to help them go through perhaps the loss of their eldest child. So I had a one-time networking event to say goodbye to Sex in the City. It was a joke, and the event said you had to wear high heels. You had to share a personal anecdote about yourself nobody else knew. Identify which character you were like on the series, most like on that series, and then wear a red lipstick. That event going out in Washington, D.C. captured the media's attention. Everybody heard about it. We sold out. People loved it, and they had so much fun because it was purely social.
Right.
That they insisted we do it again, and that's how Success in the City was born.
Wow. What is it today?
You know, we've changed and we've grown. So when I started Success in the City, I was still running an IT company. So, and I do want to go back and add that
Absolutely.
my diagnosis was benign.
Right.
I was very lucky but it did cause a catalyst to shift. And I want people to be mindful of that sometimes something will happen that is so major in your life that it will make you catch your breath, make you pause, and make you take action. And you need to listen to that. So, and if I had not listened, I don't know where I would be today. Because when I sold my brother's company in 2006, I found myself starting 2 other IT companies because that would be the natural progression. But I'm in an organization that is capturing people's imagination around the world. And I stopped and I listened. And I thought, perhaps this is what I was supposed to do in the world. So I stepped out of those things and stepped into leading and building an organization for women business leaders.
Wow.
So we then grew into, through natural progression, a membership-based organization, and I'm looking at launching chapters around the world. So here we are now, and I recognize that perhaps that was not what the journey was destined to be, because when we started, there was nothing like us. And now, and you'll know you're successful when everybody tries to copy what you do.
Right.
It's frustrating, but it's also very much an informative action. And I realized that we were filling a gap and a void that's now been backfilled.
Okay.
So now it's time for us to look at what comes next for us. So we realized that maybe being a membership-based organization was no longer necessary. To build chapters in other cities was not the way for us to go, because we love to be in the space of innovating ideas, of showing the new way, of capturing what's happening, influencing those that are following. So that's what we're doing now. So that's why we step back into social media and teaching women and businesses how to have their voice in this very unique marketplace.
So you said that with Success in the City, as it evolved over time, you did recognize that it might have gone into a different direction or need to go into a different direction. And what was that process like with the leadership team, or was it something that kind of was ingrained in you to stop, pause, and say, okay, what is the next evolution of Success in the City, and why did you choose social media, I guess mentorship and consultation as a part of it, as a path to take Success in the City and you personally, because your brand beyond Success in the City is also becoming more and more important to you in the world of social media, technology, etc. Talk about the evolution of that.
You know, I would love to tell you that it's very easy. And I woke up one morning and said, we're just going to change everything. It has probably been one of the most challenging shifts I have ever had to make, and it's an ongoing process. I would love to tell you at this moment I concluded that journey, but I must also share with you that it seems to be a common thread among many, many, many women and successful individuals I'm working with right now. We're all sharing that the world has changed, we have changed, and we have to decide what that means. So when you make a decision to change something in a corporate structure, in an environment, an organizational structure, it can be very unsettling and disruptive. When people become involved based on a pledge, a promise, a thought, an idea, a concept, that this is the direction we're going.
Right.
And when you recognize that it's now time to change direction, it's not a wholesale buy-in. A lot of people, you've made a commitment in one way to people. One thing when you have membership is I've made a contract with somebody for 1 year. They pledge a certain amount of money, and I've made a commitment for 1 year to deliver those same things. What do you do when you decide that's not what you want to deliver?
Right.
Do you want to make a shift happen? Well, you better think about that. So it's been a very difficult, challenging one, but you also have to do what you know is the right thing to do. It's not easy. It's challenging. But when you do the right things, you know you're on the right path. And so we are always in this conflict between what our internal, our instincts, our body's telling us, our emotional structure, our thought process, our intellect, and you're always trying to work through all of these things. So we're making this change, and it's not easy. But I also said, what's driving this change? You have to understand what's the driver in that. And number one is recognizing that we filled the void that existed in an environment. There was no community for women business leaders. Now there are so many organizations. I mean, people are replicating what we do all over the place, which is, I have to say, we filled the void. They're now backfilling that channel. Now it's our opportunity to go and deliver the next thing. And we love to deliver and talk about and share the next thing. So the first thing was making that big shift, and that was big, and that was challenging. And so you have a board, and you say, a board's not going to serve our purpose anymore. So we're going to resign the board because we're going to take this new approach and innovation, and we have to step back. We have to do work. I mean, then you have to say, what is this next thing? And recognizing that I have a gift at storytelling, which is why I love to be a motivational speaker, and why I love to share social media, because I want to help other people learn how to tell their story, because collaboratively and together, by sharing this process, we can make change happen at a much higher level at a much faster rate. So that's kind of what's been the driver here.
That's great. Cynthia talked about storytelling and how much you love to storytell. And not only do you love to storytell for you, but to teach others and to inspire and motivate others to storytell and to share authentically who they are and what they want and what they stand for in the world. With the way that technology and the way that we're moving today, how information is shared and received, what's happening? What's the trend, and why is that important?
I think that that's really a great point. It is about storytelling. And why storytelling? If you think about the beginning of time and how we passed on knowledge and information to the following generations, it was through stories. And we've moved into this world which is very sometimes two-dimensional, where we're not necessarily meeting with people together. We're writing, there's an overflow of content and information at our disposal that we're almost overwhelmed all the time. Stories help root us in what's happening and how we find ourselves and how we discover others and interpret life around us. This is a perfect example. What you're doing here today and saying you have a story and a mission in the world, and you're not waiting for anybody to give you permission. You're not waiting for Oprah to call or CNN or anybody else to put you on a network. You're saying, I have something to say. I have something to share. I have friends I want to bring to the table. I'm going to make that happen. I'm not going to wait. A lot of people wait and they hope and they wish. But when you're doing that, all the universe is giving back to you is the action, replying to you with what you want, which is wishing. They want to keep you in an active state of wishing, an active state of hoping. You're in an active state of doing.
Yeah, and it takes a long time for, I think, all of us to really hear and see and feel the signs that keep coming at us. For
Absolutely.
A long time, over the last 2 or so years, I've been misdirecting my energy, because I had the story to tell, but my whole life was about dimming my light and being afraid to shine too much, because it was just sometimes too painful to outshine people. I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to hurt people by being me, and so I did the opposite of that. And over the last 2 years, with launching this business, knowing my purpose is to help others shine, because that's, usually we find when we're mapping people's purpose, it's either an overflow of something that you have that you just can't contain and you have to give it to others, or was this extreme lack at some point in your life that you just can't imagine anyone ever going through or not having what you had. And those are the things that motivate the calling, the purpose. And I have been, over the last 2 years, asking, pleading, begging others to share their story and asking for permission for other networks to allow me to share mine. And it just, one day I woke up and I just thought, oh my gosh, I have everything I need. I have amazing people in my life that are doing extraordinary things, that are already shining, that can inspire other people to shine. And I have the equipment, I have the staff, I have the team, I have the space. And I just said, screw it. I might not ever be able to do this, because maybe I'll never be Oprah because I'm Mali. But I said, well, why not tea with Mali? And I think that's one of the things that, bringing it back to what you believe in and going out there and helping others be innovative and saying, I can do this. And you're teaching them how, which I love. So I want to go into that. What are you teaching? I mean, this is Cynthia's life work, and Success in the City is an extension of that, but this is your life work. This is your calling. Why teach people? Why give them the next thing? Where does that come from?
One, I'm a truth teller. I love to share the opportunity. And I would love to tell you it was easy. I was always this way. I got on a stage and could speak. I learned all of these things along the way. I learned by circumstance, by happenstance, by opportunity, by taking risk, by regretting not taking risk, all of those things. And one of the things I do is that you can tell people, but it's really when you show people. We can say what we are, we can tell people what we are, But how we really tell people what we are is by what we do. Our behavior tells our truth. Our behavior really. And one of the things I've learned in social media, it's one thing, and when I've always advised people on using technology or what you're going to do, I can say it, but if I show it and do it, it empowers other people. It's why every day when my newsletter, every week when my newsletter goes out, I do a video. I do a short 2-minute, 3-minute video talking about what's coming up the week ahead or what happened the week behind.
Yeah.
And I do it. And I'm like every other woman. I hate seeing myself on video. I will never want to look at this video. But you know something? That's ego, and that's getting in the way of really teaching and sharing. And I don't want to let that stop anything. You know, I don't have to be the prettiest girl. I don't have to be the smartest girl. I just have to be the girl that's doing.
Right.
So you have to move to doing and being and taking action. It changes everything. And that's what you're doing here. Oprah has her job. She's Oprah. You're not supposed, none of us are supposed to be Oprah. You're supposed to be Mali. I'm supposed to be Cynthia. And I'm supposed to show and demonstrate to the world that we have a purpose and a reason for being here, and I have to act on it. And then invite and hope that every woman who sees this is inspired. Some young girl right now is watching this and goes, oh, I want to do what Mali's doing. I can do that. Mom, can I have a corner of the basement? I want to do a show.
Right, exactly.
She could do a show.
Absolutely.
Today with technology, we don't need anybody's permission.
Right.
We used to have gatekeepers. They're gone. Gatekeeper used to be, I want people to know about my business or know about me. Well, I had to pay a lot of money to a newspaper or a radio station or a TV station. I had to hope. I had to find an agent. I had to pay to have my pictures taken. Now you just do it.
Yeah.
You can be Tea with Mali.
It's liberating.
Absolutely. You didn't have. Did you call me and ask for permission?
No.
You didn't need to.
But I did call you and say, please, please, please come and be
I'm
interviewed.
honored. I'm honored to be here.
Your message when you go and travel and motivate and inspire people, what are some of the most powerful messages that you hope people walk away from your, whether it's workshops, presentations, or just speeches? What do you want them to take away from just listening to you, being in your presence?
I want people, number one, to recognize their own power, to embrace their own power, to absolutely not give a darn, a damn, or say screw it. I want them to say screw it and go do what they want to do.
I did say that, didn't
We
I?
live our lives falsely for other people. Nobody will ever, ever, ever truly approve of what you do, ever. You know something? It is human nature. And there'll be abundance of reasons why that is. It could be jealousy, it could be desire, it could be anything. I mean, and we look at statistics on social media today, and it tells us that we look at other people and we have jealousy. We feel bad about ourselves. We're depressed. You know something? It only matters what you think. And it's none of your business what anybody else thinks about you. And women spend so much time steeped in trying to gain approval from others when the only person they need to gain approval from is themselves. And when they understand how much power they actually have. We are amassed and gifted with amazing power and empowerment and ownership and thought and thinking. It is amazing what we can do. And when we understand the magnificence of that, we are magnificent beings, and it only matters that if you live in your magnificence. When I started Success in the City, I knew I was starting an organization, and I come from a world of men and analytical reasoning, and I was moving to this emotional place of women behavior. And I thought, I know through experience that people talk bad about you. Maybe they're two-faced or something. I may not like what the press writes about me. Am I prepared to handle that? And I thought, I am prepared. It really doesn't matter what anybody says or does. I know I will always live in truth. I will always live in integrity. I will never betray anybody. I will always be present in what I'm supposed to do. I will help anyone that I can in any manner that I can. And I will do that with the best of my power and being. And that's the truth I need to live in. And whatever anybody else thinks, it doesn't matter. And that's what we need to get to.
Cynthia, you speak with so much power and passion when it comes to educating, motivating, inspiring, and also teaching women in particularly. I mean, you teach everyone, you teach all kinds of leaders, but there's a passion, there's this flow when I'm sitting next to you when you speak of women and empowerment. Where does that come from, and why have you dedicated so many of your years now in the support of women?
You know, it's because I grew up as a child in an Italian family, in a military family, and I always was, and I think this is true for the most part for women and maybe for everyone, to be a people pleaser. It was really mattered to me that I listened to what other people wanted of me to be and to deliver. And one day it occurred to me that I kind of disappeared. I mean, when you move away from your home and you give away all of your possessions to move in with your family to take care of them and take over a sibling's business, you move into some very stressful situations. And it was probably one of the most stressful periods of my life. I moved in, my brother had died. I took over his IT company, and I had partners who would, to say the very least, were not enamored with my presence and deliberately attempted to sabotage everything I did, to make my life very difficult. I moved into a regulatory environment that was shifting against independent internet service providers like us. I had moved in with my mother, and I don't care how old you grow to be, that there is always this sense between mother and daughter trying to please. My mother's Southern sensibilities of how women should behave, because no women in my family life ever worked outside the home. So it was I was the different daughter. So, and I tried to please everybody, my children, my husband, everybody. I had to be for them. That's not possible. No matter what you give somebody, you will never, ever please them.
What did that do for your soul? Giving and giving and giving. And I'm asking this because I think that you said it right. A lot of women, most women feel that way. I have felt that way. What does it do for you? What did it do for you?
It bankrupts you. You become emotionally vacant. You become no longer, the more you give that away of yourself and not honoring and listening to yourself. And nobody wants that. What the truth is, we think we're giving everybody what they want, our mother, our sibling, our children, our sisters, our brothers, our family, our business colleagues. We're giving them what we want. They don't want that. Truthfully, they don't. They may have expectations, but truthfully, people don't want you to become vacant and empty. You've got to, when you lose the fire in your eyes and the passion in your soul, who wants to be with anybody like that? I want to be with somebody who's truth, and that I honor my truth and I bring the best. We want to walk in a room and be with the person who's giving and being the best of themselves. I want it to be the best of me. Not the best of Malie, not the best of Oprah, not the best of... I want it to be the best of me. The only way it could be the best of me was not to be the best of what I thought somebody else wanted. So when I recognized that, and that it didn't matter any longer what anybody thought, because I was truly, if you don't want to be here, you're free not to be. That nobody has to choose to be my friend, or be in my presence, or to work with me. This is where I'm going. I'm excited and passionate and can't wait to discover what comes next. But if that's not for you, that's where real love exists. It's when you say, I love you. You do what you have to do. I love my children enough. I want them to be truly, authentically themselves. And if I do my job well as a parent, I put myself out of the business.
Right.
So live there. It was like one day I woke up, and I studied art in school, and I always loved art. And I felt like, we kind of look at people who declare themselves an artist as like, isn't that cute? It's kind of like nice, she's a woman artist, she's crafty. And I woke up one day and I said to my husband, I said, I am starving. He goes, what are you starving for? I said, I am starving for color in my life. I am a woman who lives in paramount color, but I had started living in black and white. I had dismissed all the color, and passionate is red, and it's bright blues, and it's the ocean, and it's grabbing and drinking it all in. And I stopped doing all of that. And one day I said, I'm going to paint. I said, I'm starving for color. And I picked up a paint. I went and got an easel, and I started painting again. And I said, just like I've said and what I've learned along the way, it doesn't matter if anybody likes my work. They can hate my work. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. I want to be the Van Gogh of my own life.
How do you feel when you paint?
It is when I try to describe what passion feels like. It is this alignment. It's zen. It is meditative. It is alignment in my core of my being. It is a smile and a warmth and something so special that radiates from me that I'm going to do it, and I feel it, and it ignites me. It like every being just gets turned on. Every cell in my body gets turned on. It's like I have to take that color and I have to put it here, and I don't know why. And and I know how to do very detailed work, but my work is not about that. My work is about expressing color and my emotions and my feelings and making it bold and big and statement. And it's probably hideous, but I don't care. I just want to do it. And I started doing photography. And somebody walked in the other day, a friend of mine from New York, and she goes, "You know what you are as a Renaissance woman?" I said, "Damn right. We all need to be Renaissance women."
Cynthia, you said something earlier that just really touched me to the core. And I meet a lot of people like this. I have been there myself many times. You said you got to a place where you just felt vacant, empty, checked out. For those that are watching that are there, or that are afraid that soon they will get there, what can they do? What can they do to start bringing color back into lives? How do you rebuild? How do you start all over again?
That is, I think, the $20 million question of all time. Number one, and I'm imagining you have turned into this video today for a reason, and that the universe or circumstance put you here because you needed something that we've discussed here today. And I hope that whatever it was, you've heard it, and today's the day you change and take action. And that's what a lot of us have to do. Everybody has a different bottom. And my bottom is not the same as your bottom. And I've known people, like, whether they're alcoholics or whatever it is, everybody has, and the only person who can save somebody is yourself. The only person that can save you is you. And it's your decision to make that change and be brave and do it. But you do it. Because when I had my bottom, I realized that I didn't have to give myself away. It wasn't a gift. When you give yourself away, you're not giving a gift. You're not giving anybody anything, because you're just giving away nothing. Mm-hmm. And we think we're pleasing other people. People will love you more when you love yourself first.
Absolutely.
And that does not mean going, "I'm so pretty," and singing, "I'm so pretty, I'm so witty." It's really about saying, there's a reason I'm on this earth, and I'm going to live it in joy and passion. We choose happiness, and I chose happiness. Mm-hmm. I chose... And trust me, I've had when I lost my mother 3 years ago, and then right after that, my stepdad, who just passed away in December, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it through, because I thought, this is going to be another 10 years of caring for somebody who's not in a good place medically. And that's caretakers have a very tough time of it, because it's a very solo job, because you keep waiting for people to save you.
I hear the train going, and I'm wondering if we should just keep going, because I just feel like it's this sign, and you just told people to take action.
Yeah, take action.
And to move along. And at first I was going to say cut in the camera, and I'm like, no, we're going to...
Let's just keep going.
People need to move. They need to take action.
That's a sign. Yeah. Get on your train.
Get on your train and go.
Go for you. You know something? If people are not intended to be in your life or don't like the new you, be grateful that it's time for them. You're releasing them to go do whatever else you need to do. Right. Go. That's your train calling. You need to run right now and get on that train, because it's time for you to move. And it's time for other people to move. And maybe you're in this incredible dance where neither party is happy. Because if you're giving somebody everything you think they want and they're not happy, you're not giving them anything they want. Right. You're not giving anything of you. Your job is to fill your body, your being, your soul with all the delicious lushness of life. And there's so much to be savored. And I made the decision, I'm going to savor every single moment of it. You know, people say, I don't have enough money. You think you have nothing? I don't have land. Go to a park. We own nothing and we own everything.
Right.
I don't want to have to mow a park. I don't want to have to plant the flowers. I don't want to have to tend the trees. But I want to be in nature's beauty. And I can go to Yellowstone National Park. I can be and revere beauty. But I don't have to tend it. That's the same thing. We have our own gardens of our life we need to tend. So drink it in and know that there is abundance in this world. And the only reason we have, like right now in a recessionary period, is because everybody thinks, well, the money's gone. The exact same amount of money, in fact, more money exists now in the world than it did when we started a recessionary period. It's all still there. It's just being hoarded or held back, or fear is manipulating it. Move out of fear. Move out of fear. Move into joy and watch what happens. You will own a world you could not even begin to imagine. And I get up every single day and say, I know it's tough, but I'm going to be happy. I'm going to put a smile on my face. I'm going to share what's in this world. I'm going to hold a hand out and say, come with me. And we're going to go to joy. And if you're not ready, I will love you and accept that too. But don't be fearful. It's more fearful to stay where you are. It's more fearful to stay where you are and not do what you really God gifted you to do, whether it's to sing or to dance or to paint or to speak or to drive a car fast or to fly. Whatever those things you were gifted to do, you're not honoring yourself by not doing it. Today's your day to get on the train, to catch the bus, to go somewhere to do something. If you love photography, get a camera. Everybody's got access to a camera today. Do it. If you want to paint, go get a watercolor set and paint. If you want to draw, draw. If you want to step out in your life, step out today. You can do it. Breathe and do it and live in joy, because that's really what you're supposed to do.
Amazing, amazing. And I really love the metaphor of the train. That's why I was just so tempted to not cut our scene and just keep going, because I feel like a lot of times in the world of coaching and helping people, and also we learn a lot when we coach.
When we teach, you learn.
Right.
I've always said that.
And a lot of times there is a train right there. There is a bus sitting right there going honk, honk, honk. The signs, it's all there. And it's waiting for you to come on board. It's waiting for you to make that shift, the perspective. A lot of times it's not even the one foot in front of the other. It's that mind shift. It's the attitude, decision to, whether you do EFT, tap in the morning to shift your energy, whether you meditate, whether you go jogging, to not stay in a place where it's no longer serving you in the most positive light. I think that is the biggest key to action. Some of it is attitude based first. Sometimes you can't move your body until your mind makes a decision. Sometimes if your mind wants it but your body is not healthy because you've held on to so much pain, they have to work together. And that is such a powerful message that you share now, and you're being it. You're more alive today than I've ever known you to be. You're more kooky and loving and out there, and I love it, because the reason why you're able to do that is because now you're painting again. You're really coming and being who you really are meant to be, and now you can share it authentically. What I would love for you to do now is have those that are watching find you. How can they follow you? How can they hire you? How can they get you to motivate and inspire their team? How can they actually just be inspired by you every day following you?
Well, it's easy to find me. All you have to look up is Cynthia de Lorenzi on Google. And in fact, Google actually reached out to me to help them share about Google Plus. And it was the funniest thing, because I was in an event and this gentleman walked by and he came back and he goes, "Are you Cynthia de Lorenzi?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "With Success in the City?" I said, "Yes." He said, "We've been trying to find you." I said, "Wait a minute. If you're Google and you can't find me, there's no hope in this world." I think what he was saying, I'm a little young and I didn't know how to reach out to you. But what he recognizes, that Google Plus is the platform I teach people about. It's so important for people to be there now. And I'm teaching because it just seems like it's another just social media platform. It's way beyond that. And I'm trying to teach people that, and especially women. I mean, because we always I don't need another thing to do. And I agree, we don't need another thing to do. But there's another thing we need to do if it helps us. So if you want to find me, Google Cynthia de Lorenzi. You can find me on successinthecity.org or .com. You can find me at Cynthia de Lorenzi at Gmail. You can. I'm happy to come and speak. I speak internationally around the world. I'm happy to speak to your organization. I do mentoring. I do coaching. I teach social media. So we're here to talk to you. We're here to listen to you. And feel free. Let us know if we can help you in any way.
And she's saying this, and she really means it. She is truly accessible, one of the most inspiring and truly accessible people that I know. She's very loving, so please do not take her words for granted. She will help if she can. Those are one of her principles, and she'll commit to it. So I loved having you here. I loved your passion. I just want to keep going, but I know that we both have busy schedules. Thank you for being here. You're such a gift to me, and you're such a gift to the world.
Thank you. I loved it. I loved it.
I hope that you come back next time for Tea with Mali, and I appreciate you taking the time to stop in and being with me and Cynthia today.